Play the game of hockey is taking a check to make a play, and Thomas Holmstrom certainly did it here as Ken Cleave came piling in on him, almost knocked him into the bench, but Holmstrom made the play, took the lick, and away he went.
That's taking it back out there now to face off against Steve Yzerman. Red Wings have dominated the faceoffs. That's been another area of concern for the Washington Capitals coaching staff. Kozlov trying to get to a loose puck, makes a move against Gonchar, who pinned him against the boards. Tikkanen came over, centering pass, knocked away by Riki, held in by McCowan of the Red Wings. Riki plays it along the boards. Now Todd Krieger. Krieger upended. Move the puck though to Tikkanen. Back come the Capitals. Tikkanen from center ice in the glove of Osgood. And Osgood clears it ahead. Doug Brown could not control as he tips it back into the Capital zone. We've seen the Washington Capitals 3 times already in this early going mix. Shoot the puck from long range on Chris Osgood. It's something they did not do much of at all in game 3.
Now they talked about getting the puck on the net and getting traffic in front of the net, even if they are long distance shots.
Here is Brendan Shanahan. Limited to just 1 assist so far. Shanahan, quick shot on a save made there by Kozig. Here is the point. Plays it along the board. Picked up by Larionov. A pass in front. Oh, fired over the net there by Fetisov. Slava Fetisov with a great scoring chance. And it looked like he just missed the net. Osgood clears it to center ice.
Simon went after Osgood with the stick.
Here's a steal by Marube. Tries to set it up for Simon. Bouncing puck. Red Wings get to it. It'll be held in by Johansson. Sent in deep now for Dale Hunter. He is taken down on top of the puck, and play will stop there as Eriksson reaches in on Marube, and here comes Simon. And that draws other people into the fray. Well, a lot of emotion on the ice, as you might expect with what's on the line. And for more on emotion, let's go downstairs to Nick Kypreos. Nick?
Thank you, David. Talking to many Caps prior to the game, they certainly had no trouble identifying their problem, and that was their starts. Against Detroit, no goals in 3 first periods. They just knew that wasn't cutting it. Already, in the last 4.5 minutes, we've seen a lot more emotion that you were talking about, David, and that's gone a long way to the start of this game. Back up to you guys.
Well, right now, thanks, Nick. You see Bill McCurry, the veteran referee that he is, he probably is not giving any penalties here for that scrum, but he's going to lay the law down to both benches. He's talked to Scotty Bowman. He's going to skate over now and talk to Ron Wilson.
That's exactly what he's doing, telling the coaches, look, guys, you better tell your players if there's any extracurricular activities after the whistles, they're going to the penalty box, and I don't care how many times it happens. He's going to hurt their team, and you're going to be shorthanded. The coaches don't want that, so you can bet that message will get relayed very quickly down the benches.
Face off deep in the Detroit zone. Caps with 3 shots on goal. Red Wings with just the 1, and of course they had the other great chance by Fetisov that missed the net. Here is Larry Murphy to the loose puck. Tries to clear it through center ice and does. No icing here. Kolzig realizes that. Comes out to play the puck off the boards. It'll be taken there by Ken Klee, number 2. Ahead for Oates, who couldn't control it. Now Lidstrom's pass was blocked, and the play offside at the Detroit line.
Now this is, without question, the best start for the Washington Capitals in a game in this series. Steve Yzerman knows that, and the Red Wings knew it before the game, that the Caps would throw everything outside of the kitchen sink at them here in the first 10 minutes with these fans, and their last game potentially at home. They want to go down. If they're going to go down, they want to go down fighting. And the Red Wing captain sure is saying, hey guys, just button down the hatches and let's weather this storm and go on from there.
Well, again, there are not many situations that this Red Wing team has not been through on and off the ice, but the adversity they've had to endure. There's Clee with a long shot that sails wide of Osgood. Picked up and chopped off the boards by McCarty. Now it's taken by Yzerman. He slides it ahead. Holmstrom could not corral it. Now the Capitals regain control. Tenorti hands it off for Clee out to center ice Bellows, and that'll be ruled a 2-line pass. Well, Adam Oates scored a pretty goal for the Washington Capitals in this series against Chris Osgood in game 2. It was part of that 3-goal run that gave the Capitals a 3-1 lead that they had going into the 3rd period of game 2. Adam Oates is one of the guys on the top 2 lines that just has to pick it up, Nick, and has to produce something.
Well, he's a great hockey player. He'd rather pass the puck than shoot, but he found a way to shoot the other night when he had the breakaway. But they need more out of Adam Oates. He's got to open up the ice surface for his wingers. That's a true measure of a great center. Does he make his wingers better? Usually Oates does.
Kosar goes in hard against Housley. Kosar trying to come off the boards and does. Now Kosar gets it to the forehand. Shot on net, redirected just wide by Draper. Here is Maltby for Draper back behind the Washington goal. Draper hands it off. Here's Kosar. Kosar trying to lose his man again. Sets a pick now for Maltby. Maltby gets a stick on it. Maltby backhand shot. Save. Rebound is there for Kosar. Couple of pops at it. Loose puck. Kosing is down. It comes to Draper, but his shot is blocked. It goes back in deep in Kosar. Trying to get loose from Joe Ricci. Oh, look at this grind line work. Now Nicolishin for the Capitals, looking for an outlet, got it to Housley. Housley a giveaway. Here is Larry Murphy closing in. Murphy shot over the glove of Kolzig. Now Maltby to it. Draper with a skate on it again. What a shift here for Draper, Kosar, and Maltby. A steal by Doug Brown, but the Capitals not allowing him entry. Brown has to dump it in, but Kolzig couldn't handle it. Here's Fedorov centering attempt. Loose between the circles. Capitals clear.
That was... Housley said, I've had enough of this. He's holding his breath and saying thank you very much for not allowing the Red Wings to score on his giveaway. Boy, oh boy, tentative again were the Caps in their own zone, and what a dominating shift by Kosar, Maltby, and Draper all over the Capitals, and they've got to feel lucky that they're not down 1-0, and that's supposedly Detroit's fourth line. Exactly what we're talking about at the top of the show. These guys can really cause you all kinds of problems. They're players that are comfortable in any situation, Dave. They're not pure role players in that sense. It's sort of a word that doesn't fit them totally. They are, but boy, they can play in any situation and you're not worried about it.
Here is Fedorov trying to elude Esa Tikkanen. Fedorov digs it out in front. Here's Kozov with a chance that was blocked. Kozov again makes an empty move, but he's taken off the puck by Klee. Now it'll be picked up by Doug Brown. Brown rolls it back for Fedorov. Again, Tikkanen trying to stay on him. Centering pass bounces off a stick, and the Capitals able to clear.
They are just unable to handle the cycling of the Red Wings, and that will get them in trouble long term if they don't solve that problem, Dave.
Miller dumps it into the zone, may get there himself. Miller has checked on the play, and right there is Fetisov to pick up the loose puck. Slava Fetisov tried to clear. That is intercepted. Capitals with a chance here. Bouncing puck just wide of Osgood. He clears it to the corner. Penalty coming against Detroit. It'll be called on the touch-up by Kozov, and it's going to be an interference penalty. So Ron Wilson getting what he wanted. An emotional start now. Can they capitalize with a power play coming up next? Anders Eriksson from Beaumont, Sweden, 23 years of age, is in the penalty box at 7:17 for interference as the Caps going to the net, and there's the penalty right there. Not much question.
Fetisov gave the puck up, tried to move it, was rushed, and had to make a play that he didn't want to make. And as a result, Eriksson pulls down the Washington player, and first power play of the game goes to the home team.
Capitals have scored 2 power play goals in 13 opportunities in this series. It's one area where they really have outplayed Detroit is on special teams. They've not allowed a power play goal, although they have given up one shorthanded. Here is Housley. Fakes the shot, looking to go wide. Down to the net with it. It's blocked in front by Larry Murphy, who got a stick on it. Now Lidstrom with it. It'll go hard around the boards. Gonchar, good job to get over there and hold it in. Gonchar's pass, though, broken up by Lidstrom, and Lidstrom able to clear. Kolzig rushes out to hand it off there to Phil Housley. Housley wearing a protective shield. He took a puck in the lip during one of the practice sessions between games 3 and 4. Capitals come up with the loose puck. Centering pass off his skate. Here's Bellows. And that was blocked side of the net by Rouse. McCowan plays it along the boards. Eiserman will get there. And he clears it all the way down the ice.
Not too often do the Red Wings lose those little battles, and that's been one of the headaches for the Washington Caps in this series. They just can't seem to keep puck control very long.
Here is Oates. He will gain the line. He is checked along the boards, though, by Rouse. Rouse is hit by Bondra. Puck comes free down for Oates. Oates cruising in, snaps the shot, save, rebound, poked away by Osgood, and the puck cleared by Rouse.
Good chance there. As they took the pass away, and Oates realized he wanted to pass that puck, but he had to go at a bad angle on Osgood, and he made it look easy.
There are about 4,000 or 5,000 Detroit Red Wing fans here, and again, you can sometimes hear the noise they make over the noise of the Caps fans. Here's Bondra on a rush. Bondra, top of the circle, tried to snap a shot, and he fanned on it. And back the other way, Maltby looking to hand it off to Draper. One-on-one against Johansson. And Draper couldn't handle the puck cleanly. Slides it all the way back to Lidstrom. And the Red Wings will just kill some more time. And the penalty to Eriksson. Here comes Bondra handing it off for Nicolishin. Nicolishin goes back, and another penalty coming here.
It looks like it will be against Washington for interference. As they were driving to the net, Nicolishin had Bondra open. He did not give him the puck, and Peter Bondra was called for interfering with Red Wing defenseman on the way to the net to get open. That's why he was so wide open. And Bill McCreary was right there, recognized it, makes the call, and that nullifies the last 5 seconds of the Eriksson. Watch the middle of your screen. Down goes Eriksson. Bondra to the net. If he gets the pass, he has a chance, but with possession, the whistle goes. And for 5 seconds, we'll be 4-on-4, and then the Red Wings will get their first opportunity with the extra man in this hockey game. Here was Oates a moment ago. Short side. Nowhere to go. As Bob Rouse, number 3, the wily veteran, took away the pass to the front of the net.
4 skaters aside. Johnny Bowman coming out with Igor Larionov, Brendan Shanahan, Larry Murphy, Nicholas Lidstrom, Ron Wilson, as Todd Krieger and Esa Tikkanen. 2 more defensive forwards, but both capable of scoring. Johansson and Tenorti are the defense. Lidstrom picks it up. Red Wings now go to the power play as the penalty to Eriksson has expired. First power play for Detroit. They have yet to score a power play goal in this series. Larionov back to Murphy. Murphy a shot redirected just up over top of the net. Tikkanen gets there for the Capitals and able to push it out of the zone. Red Wings are 0 for 12 in this series. Here is Larionov. Now Shanahan, he couldn't get to it, and the puck is cleared all the way back into the Detroit zone. Osgood plays it ahead now for Sergei Fedorov. Still a minute remaining in the Peter Bondra penalty. Here is Murphy with it. Slows things down. Did not want to just dump it in. Now Murphy waiting as the Red Wings are making a change. Here comes Fedorov into the zone. Fedorov makes a couple of moves. Backs off the Washington penalty killing. Sends it across. Here's a tip. Dunk. Score!
What a play. Holy smokes. Kolzig is upset at Bill McCreary about something, that his goal stick got slapped out of the way and he was interfered with. But the play here was made by Sergei Fedorov. I mean, he had 2 and 3 Capitals standing still watching him. And he came out the back door. Doug Brown, I think, just came off the Detroit bench. Watch Fedorov. He goes by Juno. He's got the defenseman backed off. He stops back up in the slot. Here comes Brown late across in front of Oates. And Brown whacks it in, and he's Kolzig arguing that number 96, Thomas Holmstrom, watch this from a different angle. Holmstrom's in his face. He slapped the goal stick. That's exactly what happened. And this puck snuck right between the pads and inside the heel of the stick.
Boy, if that happens a split second earlier, perhaps Kolzig gets the call from McCreary, but the puck was there at the same instant. Now Klee, a physical play again on Draper, and then took a hit from Maltby. That is the second goal of the finals for Doug Brown, his 3rd overall in the playoffs, and the 20th playoff goal of his career. Here's Maltby with some speed. He snaps a shot into the glove of Kolzig, and he hangs onto it.
Here, we're going to have a penalty here, and exactly what Bill McCreary had warned the coaches about. Washington takes an extra pop at Maltby. Wings go right back to the power play when we return.
Well, Mickey, you made the point right as we went to break. Bill McCreary had warned both benches that he was not going to tolerate stuff after the whistle. He let it go the first time. He warned the players on the ice, went over to both benches. Maltby skated in, took a hit from Hunter, and then Johansson came up with the arms. And so that man, Bill McCreary, the veteran who worked Game 4 of the finals last year when the Red Wings won it over Philadelphia, laying down the law.
Well, that's exactly what a veteran referee will do. First he warns you, and then it's shame on you if you go against the book. It's exactly what happened, and if the Red Wings burn them here, they're going to wish they hadn't have taken that penalty.
Lidstrom shot right through, saved Kolzig. Rebound was there, but the Caps cleared just out of the reach of Krieger. Red Wing goal by Doug Brown at 10:30 of the first period was on the power play. The first power play goal of this series, and a huge one. Again, the Red Wings so good. Well, they score the first goal, 12-1 so far in the playoffs, and the puck underneath Fedorov. A quick whistle from Bill McCreary, and again players coming in.
And they get those sticks down. That's not what you need, is those sticks up around the face. Don't score goals with your sticks up in the air. And I don't think there'll be any penalties here. Let's go downstairs to Nick Kiprios.
Thanks, guys. It's interesting in the schedule with the extra day off, what teams do. Sunday, I managed to bump into Steve Yzerman and Brendan Shanahan at the Smithsonian. Stevie Y confessed to me that the Red Wings are basically lumped in 3 groups. There's the movie goers, there's the golfers, and as Stevie Yzerman referred to himself as, the nerdy history buffs. Now I got to ask you guys, if I was there, what's that make me?
Well, I haven't seen you on the golf course. I don't know if you go to the movies, and I'm not going to call you the nerdy type, but
back up to you guys.
All right, Nick.
Well, if you're going to come to a place to see some interesting sights, this is certainly the town. Washington, D.C.
Here is Yzerman, Red Wings on the power play. Fedorov, good scoring position. Tries to get Kolzig down, wraps it out in front. Loose puck, Capitals there when they clear.
Boy, Fedorov is darting around like a bug on top of water tonight, boy. And he's doing it with power.
Kozlov tried to drive it ahead, blocked by Tenorti. Nicolishin has the man open the other way. It's Bondra. Fakes the shot. Oh, and the play had been whistled down. Could not hear the whistle because of the crowd. That was ruled a 2-line pass. Talking with Barry Smith, the assistant coach of the Red Wings, who of course has ties in Sweden, as we mentioned earlier in the series, coached the Swedish national team. We were talking specifically about the power play, and he felt they put together a video of the power play of the Red Wings over the 3 games in this series, and he felt, especially in Game 3, Mick, the puck movement was tremendous. Everything was good except finishing. He said, we just want to show the guys they are doing the right things. They just have to start shooting the puck.
Yeah, the Red Wings do a pretty good job of that. That's not a Swedish tie that he's got on, is it? He is going to. I talked to Barry today, actually, and he's coached over there, you're right, and he's going to go back over and coach more over in Scandinavia. Said he loves it over there, speaks some Swedish, and enjoys the heck out of it.
Of course, it was in Sweden that he watched the team employ a defensive system that became the left wing lock for the Detroit Red Wings, which basically, as we've described it, means there's always a forward back along with the 2 defensemen, and you rarely see the Red Wings get outnumbered on the rush. Shanahan sends it back to the line. Fetisov goes back in deep. Point centering pass. Shanahan could get to it. Brown with a chance. Great stop there by Kolzig with a blocker. Doug Brown with a quick delivery on the wrist shot, and Kolzig able to rob him. Here's Fetisov with it. Fetisov had a great scoring chance earlier in this first period. He drives it in the zone, back behind Kolzig. Oates is there, gets a stick on it, deflects it off the boards. Joey Juneau has it. Juneau drops it back for Oates. Back for Juneau, 60-footer. That's good to save there.
They had a 2-on-1 and they didn't recognize it. Boy.
Here is Oates now. Oates is checked on the play, but the puck is still there. Oates had it knocked away. And out of the box comes Johansson, the penalty killing successful this time for the Washington Capitals. Here is Kelly Miller. Sends it off to Cleat. Big hit there from Maltby.
That was a return for the hit on Holmstrom in the first shift of the game. Boy, the Caps just cannot be in the right place at the right time and make the right decision. They had an opportunity just a moment ago to have a 2-on-1. Juneau, because he didn't want to get checked, and a lot of times your player, you don't hesitate, you just let it go. Watch this play right here. It's full 2-on-1. He shoots in the blue line. And it was Tenorti who jumped up into play to make it a 2-on-1. Doug Brown, who has helped the Red Wing power play out, an unlikely guy to do that. In his greatest year in the NHL this year with 19 goals during the regular season. Rips another one at Olaf Kolzig, but that's a good example, Dave, of what's going on here. Washington just wrong place, wrong time. Day late and $1 short.
Tim Army, the assistant coach, talked about that before the game. He said, we're not reading what's there. There are opportunities that are there, but we're not reading it, and that was a great example of it. Here is Draper around the boards. Krieger will block that for the Capitals. Now it's picked up by Koser, and Maltby slides it ahead. Capitals recover. Ricci from center ice fires it in well wide of Osgood. Tikkanen just off the Capitals bench. Maltby steps into him. McCowan comes up with a loose puck. Jamie McCowan laid it ahead. Fedorov couldn't control, but Fedorov checked his man, and the Red Wings do clear.
Good job. That's right. Take the body. That's Scotty Bowman's system, boy.
Here's Fedorov trying to break loose with Doug Brown. Makes the pass. Brown with the bouncing puck. Now dumps it back behind Kolzig. Fedorov is there, but Zednik stepped in front of him, and now Nicolishin starts it back the other way. Nicolishin from center ice drives it in wide of Osgood. First one there is Zednik. He is checked though by Larry Murphy. Now Nicolishin tries to dig it out of there, but it comes right to Doug Brown, and the Wings will escape the zone as Kozlov hands it off to Nicholas Lidstrom. He couldn't make the play. Andre Nicolishin for the Capitals wheels it around. 5.5 remaining here in the first period. It's game 4 of the 1998 Stanley Cup Finals. The defending champion Red Wings leading 3 games to none. Trying to become just the 5th team in NHL history to sweep the finals 2 years in a row.
Look at Detroit's defensive setup here already. 1-2-2. That's very frustrating for Washington to play against.
Here's McCarty, hands it off. Yzerman with a chance save, calling loose puck. Oh, and it's chipped over the net by Holmstrom, who was going hard to the net. Play is still on. Holmstrom down on the ice in the crease. Red Wings have it again. A quick shot here. Save Kolzig. Batted net by Holmstrom. Kolzig is down, and Thomas Holmstrom doing his job. And Dale Hunter working him over.
Woo, baby.
Olaf Kolzig on his back doing whatever he can to try to keep his team in at the Wings with a 1-0 lead. Well, how often do you need to be 6'3", 225 pounds to play the position of goaltender of the National Hockey League? I think Olaf Kolzig needed all of his size on this exchange.
Pretty agile. Yzerman snuck the puck through him, and I think it was Kolzig's goal stick that got in the way of Holmstrom trying to chip it into the open net. Caps do not clear, and Fetisov goes back to the front, and then Holmstrom took a lick from Johansson, from Hunter, from Simon, and found himself looking at the ceiling.
Bellows being pressured, goes up the board. McCowan stops it for Detroit, sends it back to the corner where Brendan Shanahan battles against Ken Klee. And a whistle here, and the faceoff's coming outside the zone. Something else I want to mention, because that last shot on goal was the 10th for the Red Wings. 8 straight finals games. And to look at Brian Bellows, and we talk about him with the never give up attitude, and the Washington Capitals have to try to feed off of that. 8 straight finals games now, going back to the 4-game sweep over Philadelphia. In the first 4 games of this series, Detroit has scored their first goal before they have had 10 shots on goal. They scored on their first shot the other night. They scored on their 7th shot here tonight. They never took more than 9 shots to get their first goal against Philadelphia. They get off to such a great start. And again, the Capitals behind the 8 ball, playing against a great defensive team, realizing they need a goal just to tie the game.
Yeah, well, once again, they've not even able to play a bunch of time, let the crowd help them out to keep it even.
Here's Lapointe, sets it up. Larionov with a chance, and a save by Kolzig as again the Detroit Red Wings turn things around with the goal that was scored by Doug Brown. The Capitals were playing pretty well the first 7-8 minutes of this first period, but everything has turned back in the direction of Olaf Kolzig.
Ron Wilson makes a change again. A guy like Larionov's just not supposed to be that wide open. Somebody has made a bad read or missed an assignment. And see 4 Caps on that side of the ice. And Larionov comes busting up the far side. Boom. Great chance. And the 5th Cap was way over on the boards, and Larionov came right down the middle. And Kolzig made it look easy with a chest save.
It was Calle Johansson, the left defenseman, that was all the way over on the other side of the ice, turned his back to where Larionov was coming from.
He's had that sickness throughout this playoff. He's done that several times, unfortunately. For Calle and the Caps, he's had a tough time.
Riki's pass ahead was blocked by Maltby. Now Juneau takes over. Joey Juneau drops it off now for Riki. Riki bounces it in behind Osgood. McCowan moves it quickly. Maltby is there. Nearly gave it away, but the Red Wings break out with it. Here is Draper. Drives a long shot. Left toe saved by Kolzig. Now Koser. Put it to the corner. Oates takes over there. Gonchar now to Riki. Joe Riki slides it ahead. Juneau had it on a stick momentarily. Now Oates gives it back to Juneau. Juneau to the corner. Tries to dump it through the slot. But again, the Red Wings had everyone covered. And here's Eriksson. Lead pass now for Fetisov. One defenseman leading the other one with a pass into the zone. Here is Doug Brown to the front of the net. Kolzig save, rebound there for Fedorov, and Kolzig has to cover up. As again, Doug Brown and Sergei Fedorov dangerous on the rush.
Detroit just continues to pour it on. They can almost see that they're smelling blood here, and the Caps are just on their heels now. And it's been a familiar sight in this series. Brown just goes to the front of that. There's Fedorov by himself. Caps are just a split-second late getting there, but Kolzig saves the day again.
Well, at one point, the shots were 4-1 favoring Washington. As you look at this last opportunity, that was a pretty good chance there for Fedorov. From that angle, you could see that Kolzig was forced to make a save, and the shots are now 13-5. Well, the Red Wings have taken over in the momentum department. Tikkanen ties up Fedorov on the draw. Johansson plays it ahead to Simon. Fetisov steps into him. Now back to get it now is Slava Kozlov. Brown redirects it back behind Tenorti, but Tenorti able to get back and play at center ice. Red Wings lost it. Tikkanen hands it off now for Todd Krieger. He rolls it across. Kozlov is there to bat it out to center ice. Krieger lays it ahead back into the Detroit zone. Slava Fetisov has it there. Goes to Yzerman. Well, the Red Wings, Mick, are making that first pass out of their zone so easily, uncontested.
Well, that's supporting the puck. They're back there watching their teammates, and if they can't be in the play, they're giving their partner an out. Give them an out where to go. Watch Holmstrom up the middle. There it is, right there. He's going to get it either from Murphy or Lidstrom, either guy. You got to come back and support your teammates. Red Wings do it better than anybody.
Gonchar sending it back the other way, and it looks like this will be an icing call. No, Larry Murphy will catch up to that puck, and Murphy will move it quickly now for McCarty. He is run into by Nicolishin, but does clear the zone. Gonchar waiting for his teammates to get onside. Sends it back behind Osgood. Just over 2 minutes left in the first period. Detroit with a 1-0 lead. Loose puck through center ice. Yzerman racing after it. So is Gonchar. Yzerman will get there, bangs it off the boards to himself, and what do we got? A hand pass is called. That came all the way back from the center ice area then.
That'd be McCarty back inside the Detroit blue line. An awful long hand pass. He must have just turned around and tried to wheel it down the boards as Steve Yzerman did get there before Gonchar. 24 points. Boy, oh boy, 33 years old, 15 years around the National Hockey League, and the longest acting captain.
Actually born in Western Canada, but grew up outside of Ottawa, the capital city of Canada, in a town called Nepean. Steve's dad has a job with the Canadian government, and Steve Yzerman associated with the Ottawa area. Marte on the point, putting pressure on Johansson. Johansson taken all the way to the end board. Now Zednik given a bump there by Igor Larionov. Peter Bondra lays it out to center ice. And it's recovered now by Bob Rouse. Rouse plays it ahead. LaPointe again. Backhands it into the Washington zone. Kolzig himself moves it quickly out of trouble. Taken by Rouse. Rouse plays it ahead. LaPointe. LaPointe a little backhand pass. Nifty play there. Larionov and Shanahan, though, could not complete it as Nicolishin takes over for the Capitals. He plays it out to center ice. Zednik trying to draw a penalty there, and there's not going to be a call. Now Zednik forced to play the puck as he is run into there by first Larionov and then LaPointe, and here's Brendan Shanahan with it. Shanahan will send it deep into the Caps' end as we wind down toward 1 minute remaining here in the first period. Been a very quickly played period of play, not a whole lot of whistles. Here is Berube, a 60-footer. Osgood the save, rebound is there, but so are the Red Wings. And look how quickly Kozlov darts out of there, gets it to center ice, and Brown backhands it in behind Kolzig. Fedorov is there first. Taken to the boards by Gonchar. Now Fedorov and Brown again. Joe Ricci works it around the boards. Larry Murphy is there. Berube comes back to help out for the Capitals. Now Berube rolls it back behind his own net. Gonchar for the Capitals goes up the glass with it. It'll be taken center ice by Detroit as Lidstrom rolls it across. Larry Murphy has it. Murphy banks it off the boards. Brown lead pass does not connect with Draper, and Ricci dumps it back into the Detroit zone. 25 seconds left in the period. Murphy with it. Now it comes to Nicholas Lidstrom, back to Murphy. Larry Murphy hearing some cat calls from the Capitals crowd. Of course, Murphy played nearly 5 full years here in Washington during the mid-1980s. Lead pass for Krieger. Krieger trying to go wide on McCowan. McCowan forced to turn, but he takes Krieger to the boards. Krieger goes down. Loose puck in the corner, and the horn sounds ending the first period of play. And it ends with a bit of a scrum there in the corner, but they will be separated. Red Wings with a 1-0 lead, and let's go downstairs to ice level with Nick Kyprios. Nick?
Thank you, David. From ice level, it's very apparent that it was the Olaf Kolzig show again. 14 shots on goal. It's pretty clear that if they're going to win this game right now, he's going to have to do it single-handedly. Back up to you guys.
Well, a lot of people felt, Nick, that Olaf Kolzig may have to throw a shutout in order to win this one tonight. That's not going to happen. The Capitals are going to need at least 2 goals and still have Kolzig probably play as well as he did in that first period if they hope to extend this series.
Biggest problem the Caps got right now is not Kolzig. They've only gotten, what, now 21 shots on goal in 4 first periods of play with the 6 here tonight. That is not near enough. They haven't tested Osgood a lot. They're not going to win many games unless they get the puck to the net more and get some quality scoring chances.
Doug Brown has the only goal that came on the power play. Red Wings with a 1-0 lead. Stay with us during the intermission. You're watching the 1998 Stanley Cup Finals. Red Wings lead by a score of 1-0 as they're trying to win the Stanley Cup for the second year in a row and trying to sweep it for the second year in a row. They have dedicated this year and this run to the Stanley Cup to that man, Vladimir Konstantinov, considered by many, along with Steve Yzerman, the most valuable player for the Detroit Red Wings last year. For those of you that don't know the story, he was involved in a tragic limousine accident on June the 13th. Just 8 days after the Red Wings had won, or 6 days after the Red Wings had won the Stanley Cup. Sergei Manastikhanov, the team masseur, was in the car as well, and so was Slava Fetisov. Konstantinov and Manastikhanov were seriously injured. Slava Fetisov to this day doesn't understand why he was spared, why his comrades were not. He said, I would give up the Stanley Cup to see Vladimir Konstantinov and Sergei Manastikhanov get up and walk and be able to live normal lives. But that adversity is just part of what has made this Red Wings team so very, very special. And Konstantinov here tonight to be hopefully part of a celebration with his teammates. As we start the second period of Game 4 of the 1998 Stanley Cup Finals, a 1-0 Detroit lead. Doug Brown with the only goal of the first period. It came on the power play. Leo Hansen plays it ahead. Lidstrom got a stick on it, so did Draper. Now Dale Hunter, the captain of the Capitals, sends it back behind Osgood. Murphy tried to throw it along the boards. Dale Hunter was there. Now Simon rolls it back behind the Detroit goal. Lidstrom to McCarty. He is tipped there. Came to the line. Chris Simon held it in. Headshot stopped by Osgood. Osgood steers it aside, and Lidstrom has it. And Lidstrom now makes the soft outlet pass. Maltby hands it off. Larry Murphy from outside center ice, backhanded right back in on Kolzig, who makes the stop there off of Darren McCarty. And Ron Wilson has to hope that his club can come up with a better effort here in the second period. Let's go downstairs to Nick Kyrgios. Nick.
Thanks, guys. It's pretty obvious tonight that there's a lot more Detroit Red Wing fans anticipating a Stanley Cup victory game tonight. I was talking to a guy that drove all the way down from Lansing, Michigan, and he told me that he spent over $1,000 US for his pair of tickets. Now, Dave, I gotta wonder if Mickey Redmond was offered $1,000 for his seat tonight, you'd probably have yourself a new color commentator. Back up to you.
Oh, I think it would take more than that, as Kolzig has this one in the glove and had a pretty good look at it.
You know, I've always felt that we've got the best job in the business, and we get into building free, and boy, you can't beat that. Great way to go if you're a hockey fan, and great time of the year, the Stanley Cup Finals.
Scotty Bowman, when he broke into the league, Mick, was the youngest coach with the St. Louis Blues. He was the youngest coach in the NHL at age 34. He is now the oldest coach in the NHL at age 64. And on the verge of tying a record held by Toe Blake. Here's a chance in front of Kolzig. Klee did a good job to take Fedorov out of the play.
Yes, he did.
Here's a steal by Brown. It goes back to Fedorov in the corner, but the play had been whistled down offside.
It's a good thing Klee made that play too, because Fedorov's so darn strong and agile. I mean, he can throw a party in a phone booth and get out of there and nobody knows he's gone. I mean, he is so good. Nicknamed Houdini. He's there one moment, he's gone the next. And you better be strong and play the body with number 91.
Well, the difference between Sergei Fedorov and Houdini was an escape artist who put himself into terrible predicaments and got out. Fedorov very rarely gets into those.
So Sergei used to do that all the time in his first 3-4 years, and he paid some heavy prices for it. But he's gotten smarter over the years, and you're right. Now he reads those plays a lot better than he ever did before.
T-Soft backhand pass and escape, but again coming back was Larionov to clear it for the Red Wings out to center ice. Calle Johansson snaps it off now for Gonchar. Gonchar trying to enter the zone, hands it off for Johansson. They try to throw it back for Osgood. Now Fetisov takes over. Again, he does not panic with the puck. Waits to make the play. LaPointe checked by Gonchar. Back the other way now for Zednik, but he's checked by Kozlov. Hands it off, Larionov the other way. Into the zone. A quick shot to the net by LaPointe was well wide of Olaf Kolzig. And Oates clears it out center ice. Jamie McCowan goes to Bob Rouse. Up the right wing side, LaPointe hands it off. Here comes Larionov. He turns back on Tenordi. Larionov back to the line. LaPointe with a drive score! Martin LaPointe with a 60-footer has given the Red Wings a 2-0 lead. And what a play by Larionov.
Well, I don't know whether Kolzig saw this shot or not. You got to believe that he did not. Marty LaPointe He's absolutely on fire in these playoffs. And Ron Wilson can only look on and watch everything go the Red Wings' way. Igor Larionov, the professor's got two guys watching him. Juneau comes into the play. Gonchar's looking around, where do I go? And unless this shot hit a stick, and it may have done that, and changed directions on the way to the net. Doesn't look like it on that replay. A big goal for LaPointe, and the Red Wings with a 2-0 lead, and the Caps don't seem to be anything they can do about Detroit's dominance.
Igor Larionov has an ability that only the very great playmakers have in any sport. You look at Magic Johnson or Bob Cousy in basketball. You look at Wayne Gretzky or an Adam Oates and Igor Larionov in hockey. They have an ability to slow the play down to the speed that they want it played at. And Igor Larionov has a way of just making everything come to him, and then once the players start to come to him on the opposite team, he finds open teammates, and more often than not, he ends up in a scoring chance.
And assistant number 3, Bob Rouse.
Bob Rouse will also get an assist on the play. LaPointe second of this series. Yzerman being tied up by Ricky. The puck is kicked out, and Kolzig steers it aside. That is the 9th of the playoffs for LaPointe, putting him just one behind the team leader and league leader Fedorov. And 14th career playoff goal for Marcel LaPointe. Centering pass again. The Red Wings are there. It comes to Yzerman, and he's got Holmstrom up the left wing side. Holmstrom behind the defense, in on the breakaway, and the save made by Kolzig, and then Holmstrom right into Kolzig. Kolzig took the net off the moorings, and Olaf Kolzig continues to battle, and continues to be the only reason in this hockey game that we're as close as we are. Red Wings leading game 4 2-0.
Now Thomas Holmstrom was tripped at the last second as he took a pass from Steve Yzerman down the middle. He was in behind the Washington defense. Right there. Knocked the foot up from underneath him. It was Joe Ricky, 29. There he lost his right footing and couldn't make the total move that he wanted to, but Kolzig again stones him. 20th shot on goal for Detroit. We're not even to the halfway mark of the game.
Capitals with only 7 as Gonchar plays it up the boards. It is backhanded out between the Red Wing defense, and this is going to be icing on the touch-up by Kirk Maltby.
Pretty much dominating. The goals and the scores of this game, David, in finals have not indicated it, but this has been about as dominant leads and wins in games as we've seen territorially. Shots on goal, almost 2-1 overall the series. Detroit has almost seemed to play as good as they needed to play in a lot of situations, and they found many ways to hurt the Caps.
There are the shots on goal, 20-7. You mentioned the first 3 games of this final were 1-goal victories. And the faceoff quickly shot by Maltby, and that was blocked by Krieger. Maltby again wins the battle along the board, centers it, and went off the skate of Gonchar in front. Here is Draper now handing it off for Joe Kocur. It's taken away. And back comes Kelly Miller, but Kocur won't let him go very far. And the play offside at the Red Wing line. You mentioned the first 3 games decided by a goal. The last time that the first 4 games of a Stanley Cup final were decided by 1 goal, Scotty Bowman was behind the bench for the St. Louis Blues, and you were playing for the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh,
Mick.
my gosh.
And
how many years ago was that? 1968?
1968, and I remember you talking about those 2 years
Yeah.
the Montreal Canadiens won 4 straight against Scotty Bowman's St. Louis Blues.
That's right.
Close games on the scoreboard,
Yeah.
but the Montreal Canadiens were always in control.
Well, it was Jacques Plante, Glenn Hall were in goal for Scotty Bowman. He had the defensive teams, and they kept the scores low, but in the East-West matchup, it was pretty tough for them to be competitive against the original 6 teams. But they were close games in that.
Here is Fedorov from behind his own net. Makes a move. Got knocked off the puck. Simon, though, couldn't come up with it. Kozlov does, and Kozlov clears it ahead. Good play by Brown to knock it down. Backhands it for Rouse. It's off his skate. Capitals gather it in. Red Wings lead in this game 2-0. They lead in the series 3-0, trying to capture the Stanley Cup for the 9th time in franchise history. Kozlov rolls it across. Now Ricky slaps it back toward the Detroit zone. Center ice, Simon plays it right back for Berube. His long-range shot easily handled by Osgood. Kozlov chopped at by Simon. Kozlov able to play it around the boards. It took a Capitals bounce. Now Simon went down. The puck comes free. Now the Red Wings break out with it, but the pass doesn't connect with Doug Brown, and the Red Wings may have had an odd man rush. Here is Gonchar now for the Capitals back the other way. Broken up by McCown. Puck comes free. Bellows with it. He drives the shot right toe. Saved by Osgood. Johansson at the line. Chops it to the corner. Juno trying to make a play. Now Oates with it. Wheels it back. Intercepted by McCown. Clears it out. Juno is injured by the bench. Red Wings with a 3-on-1. The point to Shanahan. Shanahan trying to get it back in front. It bounces off a skate. And a giveaway here by the Capitals. Lariana to Shanahan. Sweeps it across. Picked up by Larry Murphy. Murphy shot flutters toward Kozig. And it went well wide of the net. Now the Capitals finally able to clear. And Washington dodged a bullet there as the Red Wings mishandled and misfired the puck a couple of times. And now with a whistle here, 14:25 to go in the second period. Let's go downstairs to Nick Kiprios. Nick.
Thanks, guys. You think preparing for a hockey game begins and ends with coaches and players? Certainly not. With every split second counting on your bench, your trainers are very important. Detroit trainers John Wharton and Paul Boyer actually make sure that before each period starts that the sticks are moved closest to the defensive zone. It really goes to show you that everyone's buying in Scotty's defensive first system. Back up to you guys.
No, that's right, Nick. I mean, there's so many things that go on, as you know, Nick and Mickey, as well as former players, that go on behind the scenes that you take for granted as players. You expect it to be done. But that's a huge difference between getting a stick on the correct end of the bench if you happen to break one and you have to stay out there on the ice versus skating down to the other end.
Trainer's usually the guy that goes and gets those sticks to replace them. So they got to be watching like a hawk every play that's going on out there.
Murphy tried to go around the glass with a Mick, and it went out of play. And of course, the Red Wings got that last scoring opportunity. Calle Johansson, I did not see what happened to him, but he was struggling to get to the bench.
He got hit right in front of the Washington bench. I'm not sure if it was the door open or not. Right there, yes, it was indeed. Door was open. You saw it just a little bit on the right side of your screen, and boy, that can be dangerous. Caught his right hip against the open door jam and knocked him flying. And again, communication, boy, changing on the fly.
Calle Johansson, 31 years of age, in his 11th year. Played 3 years in the Swedish Elite League. Was a first-round draft pick of the Buffalo Sabres when Scotty Bowman was the general manager back in 1985. Better off, challenged by Gonchar. Better off up the boards with it. Deflected. McCarty trying to protect it. Capitals send it right back in. Along the boards behind Osgood. Murphy hit hard there by Sednik. Here is Better off with it. And Better off able to clear. Tenorti going back to play it. And this is going to be an icing call against Detroit.
Caps may have gotten themselves a bit of a break on this call, as Tenorti didn't make much of an effort to get it as it went by him, and then he kind of took it easy going back as well. Larry Murphy just a moment ago took a heavy ride from the Caps in behind Chris Osgood, but Murphy's a pretty sly old fox, boy. He'll draw you into the area and then make that little pass past you, catch you, and hit it to a forward that's streaking up the ice. He's one of the smartest guys in this league. 18 years. Came over from Toronto last year at the deadline. What a playoff he had in their run to the Cup. Signed a nice new 2-year deal with the Detroit.
Third on the all-time scoring list among defensemen that have ever played in the National Hockey League. And I don't know that anybody has ever climbed that high up on a scoring list in any league and done it as quietly as Larry Murphy. But an outstanding career, and he's getting the notoriety now with a Stanley Cup champion. Here's Bondra. Plays it back off the boards. Nicolishin fires it in wide. Racing after it is Ricky. Ricky plays it back along the glass. Bouncing puck. Nicolishin gets to it. Capitals trying to put on some pressure here, but again, the Red Wings get to it and clear.
It'll be an icing call again. The Detroit defensively, I mean, the poor Caps, they got to be feeling, what do we got to do here to get just a couple of feet of open ice? And Detroit just will not give it to them. That is their defensive system. Credit to the coaches, yes, for bringing the system in, but a credit to people like Lidstrom and his teammates for buying into the system and executing. They are the best in the game at executing what's put in front of them.
Nicholas Lidstrom caused a bit of a stir when he said he may be thinking about going back to Sweden at the end of his contract, which is the end of next year. As you take a look at the Red Wings again, the Capitals look like they've got some pressure. They look like things are going to happen, but the Red Wings are always in position. Look at Lister right back in front of the goaltender.
5 guys right there. There's the intercept, and away they go.
As soon as Lister makes a move to challenge the puck, somebody else backs him up.
Their system, really, the Red Wings system is very European-like, because, you know, the European teams play 5-man unit, basically. A lot of that stuff came from the Russian system. And Lidstrom and Murphy play against the opposition's top lines a lot of the time. Two of the best.
Here is Kelly Miller with it now. He's out there with Tikkanen and Krieger against Detroit's grind line. Here is Matissov backhanding it along the board. Tenorti had pinched way in. Tenorti sends it behind the net. Centering pitch, quick shot, save made by Osgood. Dandy there off of Kelly Miller. They cycled the puck. The Capitals did that time, and listen to these Red Wing fans appreciating the great work of Chris Osgood, keeping it 2-0 Detroit.
One of the stops that Chris Osgood just made and had to make on a timely basis right there. Set up to Miller, bang bang play. Sharp save by the left pad of Osgood, and that's the kind of stops that this young kid, and I call him young, he's been around 6 years, he's only 25. Still hardly needs a razor, only a few times a week. But boy, oh boy, he's got his skin thickened up this year. The pressure's been on him because of the long goals he's given up, but in between that, he has been absolutely sparkling.
Washington coaching staff was talking about that today before the game as well. Osgood has shown that he is very mentally tough. And they say we haven't looked at the long goals that he's given up as much as we've noticed how he bounces back and has very often his best game after giving up a bad goal. Here is Yzerman. We got the pass from Fedorov, and now the Capitals back the other way. Kelly Miller trying to make the play, but the puck just wouldn't cooperate, and the play is offside at the Detroit Red Wings line. Well, Joey Juneau caused a little bit of a stir between games 3 and 4 when he went public and said, you know, not everybody on this team is pulling their weight, is not playing as hard as they can or as hard as they should. And though he didn't name names, and that upset a lot of people that he didn't, a lot of folks felt that he was basically talking about the line of Nikolic and Bondra and Zednik, because those are guys that have lit it up all year long, that have done well in the playoffs up to this point. And Juneau said, we got to have everybody going, and whether it's the right thing to do or the wrong thing to do, it certainly got the attention of a lot of people around here.
Yeah, well, it probably shows you I guess the lack of chemistry that team has compared to a team like the Red Wings, who have gone through those difficult and adverse times in the past.
Here's a turnover by Detroit. Osgood again there to save the day. Rebound, score! Capitals! And it's Brian Bellows that finally gets Washington on the board.
Now this goal is going to be a strange one. Took a couple of funny hops in the Detroit zone, and the Red Wings seem to be caught in the middle, not being able to go either direction and get to it cleanly. Matissov goes back to McCowan. He gets stripped by Oates, and then Bellows came in and chipped it into the top corner. So the Wings with full possession and control turn it over, and the Caps take advantage of it. The first time they've been able to do that in the series, really. And that's a huge one, at least for now, because if Detroit had gotten the third goal in this game, this series is probably over. Well, the Caps are one good shot away from tying the game.
Go back, Mick, to some of the saves that Olaf Kolzig has made. Yeah. In particular, the Holmstrom breakaway, as Brian Bellows gets his second of this series, his 6th of the playoffs, 51st of his career.
It's almost like McCowan wasn't expecting to punt back from Matissov on the corner, and it beats Osgood between the elbow and the body. 2-1 hockey game. Brian Bellows. Good goals in back-to-back games.
Yep. Jamie McCowan, you're right, looked like he was not expecting that pass, and Bellows, who played on a Stanley Cup team with the Montreal Canadiens in '93. Those are the kind of opportunities that do not come up very often against the Red Wings. And when they have, most teams haven't been able to capitalize, but Washington did right there, and they are very much in this hockey game.
The one they had this series was the turnover by Oates in Detroit in Game 2 at center ice on Lidstrom, and he made it 3-1.
Here's Lariano for the steal. Larionov hangs on. Still holds it down, tries to send it back in deep. Capitals able to clear. Lindstrom picks it up. Larionov plays it off the board. Brendan Shanahan pushes it ahead now for LaPointe. Going down the far side. They got a man open. It's Murphy jumping in. Colsey near to the side. Here's Larionov trying to set it up for LaPointe. Here's a steal by Murphy. Sends it back to the far corner of the Capital zone. And Ricky hammers it off the glass. And where did that puck end up? It's still in the Washington zone. Oates flips it ahead. Here's Juno for Bellows. A drive and a save made by Osgood. Murphy hands it off now to Koser as play opens up. Here comes Draper with it. Back to Koser. Koser snaps a shot. Save closing. Rebound is loose. Red Wing is knocked down over the top of Colsing, and both Capitals rushing back the other way.
Bill McCurry's watching all this. Colsing's got a headlock on Maltby. Butted him with the goal stick. Now Tenorti's ripping Maltby around. And Bill McCurry saw most of it. It'll be interesting to see what he calls. Chris Simon was involved to begin with, and he took off. And Kolzig finally lost his temper. And I believe it's going to be coincidental minor penalties. Maltby's going to feel like he got ripped off on this one, as the Caps certainly got their 2 minutes worth out of this exchange. Watch Maltby come in. He's knocked down really by 17 Simon. Watch Kolzig with the goal stick. Boom! Hits him in the stomach with it. Maltby says, I don't like that at all. And here comes Tenorti. Now the Caps may have gotten a break with the coincidental minor penalties. And momentum right now on their side after the Bellows goal. The Detroit's grind line comes right back and gets a scoring chance with Koser and Draper and Maltby.
And back the other way, this opportunity. Again, it was Brian Bellows who has the Capitals goal. And boy, he tested Chris Osgood there.
He ripped that one off his goalie mask. Old-fashioned screen mask that Osgood has got. Unlike most goalers in the National Hockey League. Those big fancy painted masks and helmets.
Brian Bellows, excuse me, Mick, with that 51st career goal, has tied Frank Mahovlich for 30th on the NHL all-time playoff goal-scoring list.
Pretty impressive. Four skaters aside here. Some open ice. Watch for number 91 in red. It's his cup of tea, boy.
Fedorov and Brown are the two forwards out there now with Eriksson and Fetisov. Here is Fedorov. Chips it into the zone. He gets the return pass. Fedorov to the backhand. Doesn't have a lane. Now sends it in front looking for Eriksson. Fetisov pitches in. Rolls it in behind the Caps net along the boards. Eriksson tips it off the boards. Fedorov shot deflects off the glove of Doug Brown. Mondra and Nicolishin, two dangerous forwards out there for the Capitals as well, along with Johansson and Klee. But we could have some entertaining 4-on-4 here for the next 30 seconds as Klee dumps it in, bouncing it in wide of Osgood. Now Steve Yzerman is out there. Interception by Nicolishin, but a good recovery by Doug Brown. Yzerman starts it back. Capture back in good position. A steal. Back the other way. They try to connect with Nicolishin. This is going to be an icing call on the touch-up by Nick Lidstrom.
Now this crowd feeling that this is their last gasp here for their Capitals, hanging in there with them, and Ron Wilson only hope that his team can get the next goal.
Well, the Capitals were talking about the fact that they could not look at this as having to win 4 straight against the Red Wings. The Detroit Red Wings, Mick, have not lost 4 in a row. Get this, and since the 1995 Stanley Cup Finals.
Right.
You go through the following year, in 96-97, when they won 62 games. They didn't lose 4 straight that year or in the playoffs, nor did they the following year, of course, winning the Stanley Cup, but they didn't lose 4 straight this year. The Capitals have to try to focus on a shift at a time. Here is Kozlov. Sends it across, and Lidstrom picks it up off the boards. A shot, a save by Kolzig, and he juggled for a moment, but he hangs on, and Olaf Kolzig starting to get the crowd behind him.
Well, they haven't had a ton of things to cheer about, these Washington Capital fans, whether it's been in Detroit or here in Washington. The slippery Kozlov goes across to Lidstrom, and he's got the presence just to go back to the net. A bit of a knuckleball. Juggled and held by Ole the goalie. 6'3", 225. Look at that mask. A little bit different than the Wizard of Oz, Chris Osgood.
Yzerman wins the faceoff cleanly. Lidstrom tries a shot. Kolzig save, juggles, but he's got it. Boy, Yzerman again winning the faceoff cleanly.
Will Ron Wilson make a change on that? He can't afford to be losing faceoffs that cleanly. And Tikkanen's usually really good at him too. And Yzerman beat him clean right there. Nobody in front. Lidstrom can only hope to get lucky on something like this. You're not going to score in the National Hockey League from 55, 60 feet when a goalie can see your shot. Very seldom anyway.
Yzerman and Tikkanen one more time. Now the puck is dropped and the Wings get it right back. Lidstrom drives a shot. That's off a stick and high off the glass. Ryan Bellows dumps it back behind his own net. Sergei Gonchar has it there now for the Capitals. Gonchar hands it off. Tikkanen gives it back to Gonchar. Into the zone. Between the circles. Lets the shot go. Osgood the save. Osgood run into a penalty coming here against the Caps. Not a good one.
Yeah.
Not a good one for us. No whistle yet. No, it hasn't.
Washington hasn't touched the puck, so Detroit will get an extra skater. And Yzerman smartly dumps the puck into the Washington zone. That's where the faceoff will be on the touch-up. And Detroit will have a 5-on-3 for 12 seconds with a faceoff deep in the Washington zone. And it's now a 2-1 game after the goal by Brian Bellows.
Well, Mark Tenorti is in the penalty box closest to the camera, and that's Esa Tikkanen, who just went off for goalie interference at 11:02.
Well, they give him an elbow to the left ear. Not much question. And Ron Wilson doesn't like it at all, but you know what? Bill McCreary is a veteran referee. He read the body language of Esa Tikkanen, didn't buy, thinking I couldn't help it. He's got to stop his momentum. He didn't do that. And it's a very, very big face-off with 12 seconds left in the coincidental penalties to Tenorti and Maltby here.
4 skaters for Detroit, 3 for the Capitals. Yzerman and Oates. And Yzerman won the draw. They get it back to Murphy. Murphy hangs onto it. He wants to get over to the near side of the ice. They send it across. One time on the way, sent wide by Nicholas Lidstrom. Red Wings, though, win the battle for the puck. They set it up. Lidstrom again with a drive, deflected just wide of Kolzig. Tenorti and Maltby have come out of their respective boxes. The power play for Detroit continues. And a huge point on this hockey game, in particular for the Washington Capitals. They do not want to go down once again by 2 goals. As Fedorov sends it in along the boards. Yzerman got a skate on it. Chips it free to Lidstrom. Lidstrom hands it off. Fedorov couldn't collect it. Holmstrom does along the end board. Holmstrom sends it out in front. A chance. Here's goal! Larry Murphy right up over the glove of Olaf Kolzig, and a power play goal.
Well, Larry Murphy, he went the same kind of area as Brian Bellows went on the second goal of the game. And Kolzig was already down on his knees. Murphy did not get everything he wanted on the shot. And again, Thomas Holmstrom, what a job he did. And Kolzig, you can see his body language, just frustrated, like, oh, not again. Perfect shot by Murphy. Marvelous work by young Holmstrom.
Here come the Red Wings again. Shanahan, a quick shot and a save there by Kolzig. Just got the right skate on it, and Lapointe is down on the ice. He is shaken up. He'll get back into the play because there was not a whistle. And boy, how bad does the penalty taken by Esa Tikkanen look now? Tikkanen has just had a rough time in these finals. He was on the ice for 5 of the last 6 Detroit goals coming into this game. And he may not have been on the ice for that one, but he cost it. Holmstrom and Fedorov look at the assist.
Wow. Simon Stick, I don't think intentionally speared Maltby.
Here's a shot by Housley. Chris Simon tied up, taken to the ice by Igor Larionov. A penalty coming against Larionov. And it's going to be, I believe, a hooking call. With 7:19 to go here in the second period, the Capitals down by 2 will get an opportunity to get it right back on the power play.
Well, Simon was very fortunate. His stick got caught up in the back of the shoulder pads of Kurt Maltby in the corner. And Joe Koster's coming over to have words with Simon as they go to the bench. And Larionov gets, he's not happy. He got a hooking call at a much bigger Simon in front of the net. So the Caps have a chance to get back into this thing. Right, look at that stick. Right up under the pads. Very lucky. And Maltby's lucky that didn't dig right into his back.
Well, we mentioned one of the areas that the Red Wings have been outplayed, or at least statistically, by the Capitals coming into this game has been on special teams. But Larry Murphy's goal on the power play and Doug Brown scoring on the power play. So the Red Wings 2 for 3. The Capitals with just their second man advantage. And they need a power play goal in a big way here. Trailing the defending champions by 2 goals in game 4 and down 3-0 in the series. There's Yzerman again. That won't show up on the score sheet, but it'll show up in the voting for the most valuable player in the playoffs. You can believe that. As Yzerman sends it down the ice.
He's on for the faceoff basically until they clear the zone, number 19. Then he goes for a rest and replaced by McCarty.
Owsley drives it in wide of Osgood. McCarty ridden to the board by Nicolishin. Larry Murphy checked by Bondra. Murphy kicks it ahead. Draper backhands it off the boards. Taken by Tikkanen. Now the Capitals set it up with a man advantage. Here is Bondra back to the line. Housley drives a shot that was blocked by Draper, who timed it perfectly. Here is Nicolishin. Hands it back off. Gonchar straight away. Drives a shot. Save made. Rebound chance. Osgood has it underneath the pads as the Capitals come crashing to the crease.
And Osgood got his version of Ole Kolzig a moment ago with a bit of a whack on Tikkanen. Make that Nicolishin at the side of the net. And Tikkanen out in front. And Osgood didn't like that, so once the puck was frozen, he used that big goal stick of his. There's a good stop there with that left pad. And then the rebound coming back. Adam.
Well, yes, Tikkanen, we mentioned a lot of the negative things that have happened to him in this series. Boy, he's had a marvelous career. I mean, he's ranked 10th on the all-time NHL playoff goal scoring list with 72, just behind Claude Lemieux and Dino Ciccarelli. Of course, winner of 5 Stanley Cups, 4 with Edmonton, 1 with the Rangers.
He's a crusty veteran, this guy.
There's a steal by McCowan, and the crowd here at the MCI Center doesn't appreciate the lack of success here so far on this Capitals power play. Housley plays it ahead, but it will not connect. McCowan slaps it back. Now here's Doug Brown trying to get loose, but Housley steps in there. Under 6 minutes to go in the second period. 35 seconds remaining in the Larionov penalty. Here's Adam Oates to the net with it. Knocked aside by Osgood, centering pass. A chance for Schutter off the stick. He tried to make the play. Another chance, and he fired it wide. Here is Housley. Back to the line. Gonchar fakes the one-timer. Housley. He waits patiently. Now Oates is checked, and Doug Brown will hand it off to Fedorov, and Fedorov will avoid a check and then drive it down the ice.
Red Wings diving all over the ice trying to block shots. Caps have to hold up, and then they end up making the play that they don't want to make, and the puck is cleared down the ice.
Out of the box comes Larionov and flips it back into the Capital zone. So the Red Wing penalty killers, including Chris Osgood, do the job to keep it at 3-1 in favor of the Red Wings. Dale Hunter plays it back in behind Osgood. Batisov nearly overskates it. He's run hard by Dale Hunter. And the puck is cleared by LaPointe. Now the Red Wings trying to make a play. It's knocked away. Here is Simon just off the bench, taken down. No call coming. Red Wings get away with one there as Kozlov starts it back. Cuts behind Larionov. Kozlov from 65 feet. The save made by Kolzig. And Johansson now from behind his own net. Sends it ahead for Dale Hunter. Hunter hands it off. Johansson goes back to Hunter. Hunter sends it in. Around the boards behind Osgood. Batisov moving it up the boards. Capitals held it in. Here's Batisov again. Now Tikkanen battling there with Larry Murphy. Tikkanen comes off the boards with it. Rolls it back behind Osgood. but it's Batisov that's there. He gives it off now to Thomas Holmstrom, who goes back for McCarty. McCarty could not get through Ken Plescheck, and here's Joe Ricci for the Capitals. Ricci slams it off the glass, and Bob Rouse gathers it in. Now Rouse's check, Kelly Miller trying to get to it. And we got a whistle, a penalty coming here. I believe being indicated by Bill McCreary. It's going to be a high stick. And it looks like it's going against Detroit. Capitals on the power play when we come back. Scotty Bowman's Red Wings with a 3-1 lead late in the second period. Let's go downstairs to Nick Kypreos.
Thank you, David. I can certainly recall my feelings in 1994 when I had a clinching game for the New York Rangers. And I tell you what, for 24 hours, I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep. And all you do is just replay that same scenario since you had when you were 7 years old, and that's carrying the Stanley Cup. For most of us, it's once in a lifetime. For these Detroit Red Wings, lightning might strike twice. Back up to you guys.
All right, Nick, of course, the Red Wings trying to become the first team since Scotty Bowman's Pittsburgh Penguins, repeated in 1992. Of course, much like this Red Wing team, we talked about the tragedy and the adversity this team has had to overcome with Vladimir Konstantinov. That Pittsburgh team had to overcome the death of their coach, Bob Johnson. Here's a chance and a save made by Osgood. And Osgood cradles the hard shot there off the stick of Andrei Nikolitin.
Osgood in good position, square to the shooter. That's a lot of times how they measure what a goaltender is doing. He's not diving and scrambling all over the place. Nikolitin sneaks in the back door. Osgood has a pretty clear lane, but a good bullet drive by Andrei Nikolitin. And Osgood got it with his left arm. Again, even shorthanded, Detroit will try to pressure the puck and make you make a play too quickly, and not the play that you want to make if you had time to do it.
Now, like Adam Oates, Nikolitin more of a playmaker, but again, Ron Wilson wants his players to take shots on goal, and they've been doing that on a more regular basis. Here the Red Wings come out now. Fedorov and Yzerman. The pass for Yzerman. He collects it, trying to get around Housley with a drive, and he just missed the net as Kolzig cut down the angle. Lidstrom hands it off to Fedorov. He'll kill some more time on the Bob Rouse penalty as Larry Murphy skips it all the way down the ice. 3 minutes left here in the second period of Game 4 of the 1998 Stanley Cup Finals. Gonchar drops it back. Housley works it now center ice, and Fetisov sends it right back. Again, the crowd here at the MCI Center getting impatient with the Capitals power play. Back to get it is Eriksson. Moves it quickly for McCarty. He is checked right away by Nikolitin, and a whistle from McCreary.
A little bit of a pile up afterwards, and it's Bondra who whacked Jamie McCowan. And that's not normally like Peter Bondra. He's thinking of playing hockey, not pushing and shoving and getting physical. It's not his game at all. Play in the corner to the left of Osgood. They get the freeze. Nikolitin took a little cross check. He didn't like that. And everybody joins in on the party.
Face off Detroit zone. Caps control, but the Bellows pass to Oates is knocked away. Held in Johansson at the line. A shot save made there by Osgood. Back to now. A chance here. Fired wide by Tonelli. Half a minute left in the Rouse penalty. Capitals keep coming. Here is Bellows with it. Looks out to the line. Johansson on one time. Redirected. Save Osgood. Oates trying to gather the puck. And the Red Wings clear it to the top of the circle. Johansson goes cross ice. Tonelli's shot. That is blocked in front. And Fedorov will wheel it out to center ice. Boy, Osgood has been tough when he's been called upon here in this second period. Oates sends it across. A chance here now for Johansson, but he couldn't handle it cleanly. Sends it to the front of the net. Out of the box comes Bob Rouse. Capitals drive it to the net. It's deflected high off the glass. Oates is centering it tip. Red Wings cleared. And Yzerman starts it back. Yzerman dumps it in. Trying to get there is Johansson to get the icing call, and he just does get there ahead of Bob Rouse.
Well, Osgood has been very, very good here in the second period as Washington has definitely turned up the gas. They've now got 19 shots on goal. That's their 13th this year, or this period rather. There was that last opportunity, the long shot from the point. Oates not able to handle a rebound because Lidstrom's all over him. But the original stop, the key save by Chris Osgood in a shorthanded situation.
Nick, there's only been 4 other occasions in NHL history where a franchise has won back-to-back titles and had a different goaltender in the net from one year to the next in the deciding game. But the difference is the previous 4 times it's happened, it's been because of an injury.
Yeah.
The #1 goaltender who would have played that following year got hurt either in the finals or in the previous series. And of course, it was by the Red Wings' decision that they moved Mike Vernon's last year's Conn Smythe Trophy winner. Here's the Capitals keeping the pressure on, but Kelly Miller had it poked away on the puck, cleared by Shanahan to the line, but not out. Shanahan will get it this time and rolls it to center ice. Gonchar hands it off now. Riki moves it to Tikkanen. Tikkanen plays it in. Osgood. The rare times he comes out of the net. It seems in these playoffs to play the puck. The Point wanted to move it quickly to Eriksson, but the Capitals were all over that. And we're down now to 1 minute remaining in the second period.
1 minute into the period.
Andre Nicolishin, a chance here. Bondra shoots. Oh, it's not the puck is cleared.
Holy smoke.
Bondra with a great chance. He looked as if he was going to pass it and then snapped it toward the net.
Now the Caps have been wondering about a lot of things in this series, and it's obvious by this period, their 14th shot on goal right there by Bondra, that they're now looking at Chris Osgood and going, as if we didn't have enough trouble, this guy is standing on his ear and stopping everything in sight. Great chance right there. Boy, oh boy. And Osgood has been sparkling here in the second period.
Peter Bondra, born in a town spelled L-U-C-K. That would be luck, of course, in English, and that's something that Peter Bondra hasn't had. In these playoffs, he was tied with Teemu Selanne, the great Finnish Flash, with 52 regular season goals. Peter Bondra missed 3 games in the first round because of an injured ankle, and there's some speculation that he's still not 100%. But still very, very dangerous. Around the boards, McCarty runs into Chris Simon. McCarty goes down and gets the whistle here with just under a half a minute left in second period play.
Well, I'm sure Chris Osgood feeling pretty darn good about himself. He has had a rocky playoff. As far as the press is concerned, they have really been all over him. The goals that he gave up from Al McInnes center ice and Jamie Langenbrunner in the Dallas series from center ice. And my goodness, he has really battled back and fought that adversity. And just done a wonderful job. And it's, you know, the big thing was, Dave, he played 2 years ago in the playoffs, and Mike Vernon, the veteran, chosen by Scotty last year. And doesn't Vernon just go out and win the MVP with the championship team last year? So it's like a comeback year for Osgood, and so far it looks pretty darn good for him.
Those Eagles steal the puck away. We're inside the last 10 seconds of the second period, and a penalty coming away from the play. And this will be the second needless penalty for Ron Wilson's Washington Capitals. There you see the indication from Bill McCurry slashing against Tenorti with just 6.6 seconds. Mick, not only is the timing bad, and you can read it on the face of Ron Wilson, it was just totally unnecessary. The puck was nowhere near there.
Well, Tenorti knows that. He's a veteran player. He thought he could get away with it. You be the referee. It was more of a trip than a slash, but McCarty, I think, did his job to help out, and that's what Tenorti said to him. Come on, Darren, wasn't that bad? You made it look worse than it was. But Ron Wilson's going to have to live with it no matter what. And it looks like the Caps will go into the third period shorthanded, and the Red Wings leading it 3-1. There's a shot up into the crowd with 2.7 seconds to go. And you can bet that the Red Wings and Scotty Bowman in that intermission now coming up will be saying, guys, it's been a long season. We've had the Olympic break for 16 days. We've had the All-Star break. It's gone on forever. Let's end it tonight. We don't want to play tomorrow. We don't want to practice tomorrow. We got 20 minutes to play. We're leading by 2. Let's lock it up and go home for the summer.
Face-off will be controlled by the Capitals, and they will clear it out to center ice. Now the Red Wings got the only goal in the first. They outscore the Capitals 2-1 there in the second. They lead it 3-1. Let's go downstairs to Nick Kypreos. Nick.
Thank you, David. Definitely a specialty teams period, and the way Bill McCreary's calling the game, you know, Washington's going to get a couple more cracks at the power play, but before this is over, it's going to make or break them. Back up to you guys.
Well, Chris Osgood faced 14 shots. That's only the third period in these 4 games that we've had so far that the Washington Capitals have outshot the Detroit Red Wings. But again, Chris Osgood equal to the task. The Red Wings trying to complete back-to-back sweeps in the Stanley Cup Finals, leading 3-1 after 2. Stay with us. You're watching the 1998 Stanley Cup Finals. 3-1, the Detroit Red Wings lead after 2 periods of play here in Game 4 of the 1998 Stanley Cup Finals. What might the Washington Capitals do? Well, Nick Kypreos had a chance to talk with one of the assistant coaches of the Capitals. Nick?
Thanks, Dave. I did get a quick comment from Tim Army, and he did mention that he was not very happy with a couple of undisciplined penalties in the second period. The first thing they got to do is kill 1 minute and 53 seconds. After that, they got to persevere and get to the net and find a way to score goals. It's that simple, or their season is over. Back up to you guys.
All right, Nick, and of course Tim Army was an assistant behind that Anaheim bench along with Ron Wilson last year in the second round when the Red Wings won in 4 straight, but 3 of those games went into overtime. Ron Wilson and Tim Army have been behind the bench for 7 consecutive losses to Scotty Bowman's Red Wings, 6 of them by a single goal and 4 of them into overtime.
His hair is still dark. Gonna be pulling it out. Frustration eventually does set in. And in case the folks around the world didn't hear today, Pierre Pagé of the Anaheim Mighty Ducks was let go, so they're looking for a new head coach.
Here is Gonchar after Yzerman went down, and it's cleared back to center ice. Here's a lead pass for Holmstrom into the zone. Plays it back along the boards. Gonchar trying to work it out of there, held in by Lidstrom to the net, right through. Kolzig save, and he hangs on as again the Red Wings have a man right in front of Olaf Kolzig, and it's Thomas Holmstrom who picks himself off the surface as much as any football player in the National Football League.
He sure does. He pays the price. And when Holmstrom came over from Sweden, we were told he was like a Dino Ciccarelli. May not have the touch that Ciccarelli had around the net, but boy, he's sure shown that maybe they were wrong about that in these playoffs. And Holmstrom has absolutely been remarkable for a young player. He's not playing like a rookie, that's for sure.
7 goals and now 12 assists with the assist he had in the second period on the power play. Draw comes to Murphy, hands it off to Lidstrom. Brendan Shanahan to Larionov, a chance here, deflected wide before it got to Kolzig. Murphy again, in front for Shanahan, off of his stick. Nicolishin will start it back with Bondra. Nicolishin across center ice. Oh, look at Shanahan come back, working hard on the back check and snuffing out that opportunity.
Another comment that we were talking about Washington and their coaches and players. They talked about the Detroit Stars being great defensive players and paying the price defensively.
Here's Lidstrom to Larionov. Larionov hands it off. Shanahan, quick snapshot, a glove saved by Kolzig. He saw that all the way. Brendan Shanahan is talking a little bit more about his back problem, saying that, you know, I've felt a lot better the last 2 or 3 games. I'm getting close to feeling normal, but he said, look, I don't feel I'm a one-dimensional player. I feel I can help in other ways, even if I can't get as much on the shot, although he got some pretty good bend on the shaft of the stick. He feels he can still help even if he's not scoring goals.
It's been pretty obvious that Shanahan has not been near 100%. He's at his physical best when he's banging and thrashing and hacking and whacking. He's a big, tough power forward, and he hasn't played much like that at all in this series. You know he's hurt.
Absolutely. Adam Oates, center ice. And Gonchar lost his footing. Erickson sets it up for Kozlov. He's got Brown with him. Kozlov drills it across. Brown's goal! Doug Brown on the power play. Third power play goal of this game, and the Red Wings celebrating on the bench. They can sense it now. Even with 18 and a half to go, they're up by 3.
You know it. What a play by Kozlov, tape to tape, and out of nowhere they come down and bingo. The turnover at center ice, shorthanded, and away they go. Fedorov to the outside, Brown in the middle, and Riki does not take the pass away. Another decision made by a Washington player which isn't the best one, and Detroit makes them pay again. Perfect little feathery pass up over the stick, and they make it look easy, and the Caps can only watch as the Red Wings look like they're headed for the sweep. And they're going to go upstairs to see if Brown was in the crease before the puck got there. I think not. It will be a goal, says Bill McCreary. And it's 4-1 Detroit.
Well, we mentioned there's a lot of Red Wing fans here in Washington, but on the right, that is the Joe Louis Arena, where there are probably well over 10 or 12,000 fans watching on a big screen TV, and of course reacting to the goal that was just scored there by Doug Brown, his second of this game, his third of this final series, his fourth overall in the playoffs. And with everything the Washington Capitals said they had learned in the first 3 games, they still have been unable to stop this big red machine. That was a name that was given to the Cincinnati Reds baseball team of the 1970s, but it certainly applies to the Detroit Red Wings of the 90s.
The only American-born player on the Detroit Red Wings, Doug Brown.
132. Fourth goal of the playoffs, second of the night.
And it's amazing. When Doug Brown was out with a shoulder problem, he got hurt the last game of the year against the Colorado Rockies. As you look at his second goal of the night, what a pass by Kozlov. Tape to tape, boy. It doesn't get any better than that. I think I said Colorado Rockies. Make that the Colorado Avalanche, not the baseball team. But nevertheless, he got hurt. That shoulder separated. Yeah. They thought he was done for the playoffs. He comes back. They said, come on, Dougie. We need you. As Osgood makes another stop, we need you to help our power play. An unlikely guy, really. But you know what? Bowman put him back on the point. Played the wing, and he has helped the Red Wing power play. As Dale Hunter spends 18 years in this league and has never played in an NHL Finals game until this year, and it looks like he'll have to wait over 1,300 games to get to the finals. Dale Hunter, the one of 3 Hunter brothers to play in the National Hockey League, and the other 2 brothers both have Stanley Cup rings.
And of course, last year, as we mentioned earlier, was the first time in his career that he played on a team that didn't make the playoffs. Here's Berube holding it in, but now it's stripped away by Rouse. He hands it off for Maltby. Yzerman trailing the play. Yzerman has it to the net, deflected by Maltby just wide. Now it is picked up by Draper. Draper moves it in deep, pinned up along the boards.
David, the fans here
Absolutely.
at the MCI Center are cheering in unison. Vladdy, in respect to Vladimir Konstantinov, the fallen Red Wing, who is here tonight watching his team.
Gosser will play the puck off the boards and out to center ice. Of course, they have rules and regulations for which players within an organization get their name on the Stanley Cup. I don't think there's much question as we watch this shot of Nicolishin sail wide. The Vladimir Konstantinov's name will be on the cup with the rest of the Red Wings. Here's a chance now across for Kozlov, but knocked away. Now back the other way comes Nicolishin. Sedna can't get to it. Osgood will cover up. And we get a whistle here.
Look at this. Look at this. Oh, my.
Vladimir Konstantinov, his wife Irina. Again, Konstantinov.
Unbelievable. Look at this. This is unbelievable in Washington. And even the Washington fans put their hands together for the fallen Red Wing. Boy, oh boy, it doesn't get any better than that. What a great guy.
Back here at the MCI Center, again, Vladimir Konstantinov sitting down actually to our right. And the thousands of Red Wing fans here, and as Mick pointed out, many of the Capitals fans acknowledging Vladimir Konstantinov, but of course Sergei Manasnikov, the other member of the organization that was injured so terribly in that limousine accident, as far as we know, not here tonight. The draw to Eriksson, his shot deflected wide of Kolzig. Of course, the other player that was in that car was Slava Fetisov, and oh, the emotion that he must be feeling. He's down on the ice right now. As Kelly Miller in the corner now for the Capitals. Looking back for someone coming late at the line. Gets the return pass from Krieger. Snaps a shot. It was blocked by Fetisov. And now the Red Wings clear it to the line. Gonchar holds it in. Gonchar shot to the net. Did not get through. Scramble for the loose puck. It'll be the Red Wings that get there. And it's out to center ice for Yzerman. Gonchar did not stop the Red Wing captain with that check. Yzerman drives a shot. It's blocked up into the crowd and out of play.
Well, you know, Dave, the Red Wings have kept the locker of Vladimir Konstantinov with his equipment in it, and what an inspiring thing that has been for them. As a veteran and a young player, Mr. Steve Yzerman and Sergei Gonchar. Down the right side, Gonchar does not get enough of Steve Yzerman. He says, well, I'm just going to keep on going. He took a little bit too much time. And Tenorti got the stick in the road, and he rips it high into the seats here. But with that locker of Sergei or Vladimir still in the dressing room, Dave, it's been quite an emotional year for these guys all around. And of course, Peanuts just moving back to the Detroit area after spending the winter in Florida rehabbing.
Here is Chris Simon. His play continues, but his pass in front broken up as the Red Wings break out 3-on-2 if they hurry. Drop pass, quick shot there. A blocker save made by Kozig as LaPointe got that away quickly. And Murphy now slides it across for his defense partner. Lidstrom has Larionov up the middle, but Larionov was standing still. He hands it off for Murphy. The play still onside, and Kozig makes the easy stop there. So we're down to 15 minutes and 15 seconds. That's still a lot of time in a hockey game, Nick. But again, the sense you've had throughout this series, regardless of the score, and this is the first time that Larry Murphy and the Red Wings have enjoyed this kind of a lead of 4-1. You've just had the sense that the Red Wings have been in control of things.
They've been absolutely in control all the way. The score has not really been indicative. The only game was game 2, where Washington did have the 3-1 and 4-2 leads. They let it slip away, and from that moment on, Detroit smelled blood, and they've been after it. And the Caps really have not had much of a chance. And Detroit, not by design, but have almost played as well as they needed to play. The Caps are young. They've not experienced at this situation, and they've made a lot of bad reads and mental mistakes. And Detroit has been able to take advantage of that. But the experience of having gone to the finals 3 of the last 4 years.
Red Wings lost in the 1995 finals to the New Jersey Devils in 4 straight. They had a marvelous 62-win regular season the following year, but lost in that tough battle against Colorado in the 3rd round. Colorado went on to win the title in 4 straight that year against Florida, and then of course the Red Wings winning it last year with the 4-game sweep of the Flyers, and right back into it here and on their way to a 4-game sweep against the Washington Capitals. Unless Washington can pull out some kind of a miracle comeback this playoff side at the Caps blue line.
Now Sergei Fedorov missed most of the season. Signed the large contract after an offer from Carolina. He had a clause in the contract that said if the Red Wings or the team he plays for makes the conference finals, he had a $12 million bonus. They had paid him $14 million bonus up front. Now, he would have received that money over the 5-year term of the deal anyway, but they did make the conference final, obviously. So he ends up with $28 million in 3.5 months.
Here comes Bellows trying to roll it across for Shuno. Poked away by Osgood. Picked up by Tenorti.
Good job by Doug Brown right there. That's something Washington has not done, is taken their checks down to the net like Brown just did.
Here's McCowan to play it around the boards. Kozlov may have Fedorov on a 2-on-1 here. Lead pass for Fedorov, but Housley read it well. Got a stick on it as Rouse rushes it back up into the Washington zone. Back comes Housley. Hands it off now for Oates. Oates sends it in deep behind Osgood. Osgood stops it there for Tisov, who set up the game-winning goal in Game 2 and set up the game-winning goal in Game 3. Now Erickson knocks it away from Oates. McCarty just sends it deep into the Cap zone. We'll probably see the Red Wings do a lot of that with a 3-goal lead here in the 3rd period. As Juno plays it ahead, broken up by Yzerman. Yzerman hands it off for Holmstrom. Yzerman going back to the net. Here is Holmstrom. He's checked hard by Sergei Gonchar. Holmstrom lost his stick, but he goes back to gather that in quickly.
Not even a hiccup from Holmstrom. He gets rammed right out onto the main street here in Washington almost, and he doesn't even flinch.
that did not want Slava Fetisov to succeed. There were players on the team that didn't hold up their checks just so Fetisov would get hit an extra time. Brendan Shanahan said that was not a proud time for the New Jersey Devils, but Fetisov proved what an athlete, what a man he is.
Well, I'll tell you what he went through off the ice back in the Soviet Union personally, nothing to do with hockey really. Makes a hockey game and the things that go on in it very small and minute.
Here is Igor Larionov, who was part of that rebellion as well, and one of the pioneers.
He blazed the trail, Dave Blasicki, for all these young Russian players. Took them over freely now and test his skills at the greatest league in the world.
Here is Shanahan off his skate, trying to play it to LaPointe. It's picked off, and Ken Klee will start it back with a 70-footer that changed direction and deflected by Osgood high up on the glass. Here is Fetisov with it again. Fakes one way and just goes the other. Hands it off. Shanahan will clear. No icing here. Immediately indicated by linesman Gord Brossiker. Tenorti just off the bench, plays it ahead for Dale Hunter. Maltby rides him to the boards. Osgood takes a look, lays it around. Koser, knowing that Tenorti's coming, able to clear the zone. Gonchar around the glass with it. Osgood able to stop it there. 12 minutes straight up left here in the third period. Lead pass now for Draper. Again, that first pass makes so easy for the Red Wings. They always have that man in the middle open.
The system, the support system where you give the guy open. You give him a place to go with it. Give him an out.
Broken up by Lidstrom. Koser again back on the rush. Wanted to make the play to Draper, but it's broken up, and back comes Chris Simon. Hands it off for Hunter. Poked away from him, and it's back out to center ice. Minority lead pass. Here is Chris Simon with it. He'll bounce it back deep into the wing zone. And the clock is on the side of the Red Wings. They don't want to see it stop for the next 11 minutes and 20 seconds, but it's going to stop here on an offside play at the Washington Capitals blue line. Red Wings 4 and the Capitals 1. You're watching the 1998 Stanley Cup Finals. Well, talking this morning with Chris Draper in the Detroit dressing room. Chris Draper, one of the closest personal friends of Chris Osgood, and of course all the talk about Osgood and the pressure he was under. And I said to him, to Chris Draper, I said, go back to when the decision was made to go with Chris Osgood and not Mike Vernon after Mike Vernon had won the Conn Smythe Trophy. I said, was there any doubt in the locker room at that time? Did management make the right decision? He said, no, absolutely not. He said, we've always had faith in management making the right call. And he said, you know what? We really had faith in either one of these guys, and we believe Chris Osgood can lead us to the Stanley Cup. Here is Kozlov for Brown, looking for the hat trick. And it sailed just wide of Kolzig, almost a carbon copy of the goal that Brown scored just moments ago. Here comes Kozlov. Bouncing puck, he has to gather an end. He's pinned to the boards by Nikolitin. Now Nikolitin being bothered by Fedorov. Red Wings just do not give up in the checking part of the game, regardless of where the puck is. And now the Caps finally get to come out with it. From center ice, Housley right in on Osgood. He'll gather that up in the glove.
The one thing about the Red Wing personnel like Doug Brown and company, I mean, when you bring people in like Scotty Bowman, like the Ilitch family has done, that runs and owns the Detroit Red Wings, you don't question, and that's why this team is a championship team. They have bought into the system the coaches have put in. They don't try to coach. It's their job to play hockey, not to coach. And when it came to decisions, Mike Vernon, Chris Osgood, and all kinds of other player personnel decisions that Scotty Bowman has a knack of making, and that's why he's going to win his 8th Stanley Cup to tie Toe Blake. He just knows what he's doing, and these players respect him, and they say, hey, Bowman is a master. We know it, and whatever he does, he's the boss. So whether it's Osgood, Vernon, but this was got to be a sweet win if it turns out that way with 10.5 to go here for Chris Osgood after sitting out last year. And Bowman went with Vernon because he likes veteran players.
Yep, absolutely.
Look at his defense. The only young guy in his defense right now, young Eriksson, who's played very well. The rest of them are wily veterans.
Here is Juno backhanding it across. Holmstrom knocks it down. And that was played, I believe, with a high stick. So they whistle it down here as we approach the halfway mark of the third period. You see Doug Brown again. And speaking of decisions for Scotty Bowman and the Red Wings, one of the decisions they may have in the offseason may involve Doug Brown, because, of course, you have an expansion draft coming up with the Nashville Predators coming into the National Hockey League. And Doug Brown, you got a guy like Mike Knuble, Matthew Dandino, young guys that did play in the Stanley Cup Finals this year, and they may not be able to protect a guy that can play in the NHL like a Knuble or a Doug Brown or a Matthew Dandino. I'm sure they're going to try to protect their youth and keep building toward the future. But boy, Doug Brown has just performed I mean, you look at the big goal he scored,
Amazing.
maybe the biggest goal of the series.
Against, St. Louis, was it?
Well, no, I'm thinking of the goal in Game 2 of this series that tied the game.
Yeah.
The
Oh, the 4-4 goal. Yeah. But to get here,
absolutely.
he's been amazing through the injury. He hurt that shoulder as well in these playoffs.
Well, it's a script the Red Wings used last year. I mean, different heroes every night, every series. Here's a lead pass. Oates gets behind the defense, snaps a shot on the right pad, save made by Osgood. Oates had a little bit of room, but again, it was closing quickly, and he probably shot the puck quicker than he would have liked. Here's a steal by Bellows. Bellows to the backhand, to the forehand. Loose puck in front, and Osgood knocks it out with a blocker, and the Red Wings get to it. It's up in the seats out of play, and a face-off in the Detroit zone.
Now this fan just here in Washington hanging on to threads of hope that the Caps could come back, but I'm afraid it's not in the cards, as Larry Murphy and his buddies are going to shut the door on the Capitals, who have probably learned a bushel full of lessons in this final, much like the Red Wings, Dave, did in 1995 against New Jersey. They were absolutely shell-shocked that they got beat so soundly by the New Jersey Devils 4 straight games.
Well, I think there's 13 people, if I'm correct in counting coaches and players that played on that 1995 team, and very valuable lessons learned by the ones that are still here, obviously. And of course, the management learned some lessons there and went out and got players like Brendan Shanahan, who just cleared the zone because they felt the Red Wings overall just weren't big enough, strong enough, tough enough from first line to fourth line. Here's a steal by Tikkanen. Top of the circle, drives the shot. That's up off the glass. And the Red Wings will clear.
Yeah, it was the forward line, too small, not abrasive enough. They have addressed that problem with people like Maltby. Joe Kocur, brought back out of the Industrial League in Detroit after retiring. Marty Lapointe coming into his own. Darren McCarty, Brendan Shanahan. They are now big and tough and physical, and that's exactly what Scotty Bowman wanted. He got it, and that's why they are going to repeat as the Stanley Cup champions.
Scotty Bowman's remarkable record continues. And a face-off now to the left of Olaf Kolzig. And the face-off controlled by the Caps. Johansson clears it out to center ice. Fetisov wheels it back to the neutral zone, and here is Lapointe. He hands it off now to Fetisov into the zone, winds up, drives a shot. The save made by Kolzig. Cleared off the boards by Tenorti, out of the zone by Craig Berube. Eriksson drops it back. Maltby has it there. Maltby backhands it just inside the Capital zone. It comes now to Tenorti. Tenorti will drive it in from center ice. Osgood juggled it momentarily, decides to keep it in play. Again, the Red Wings don't want to stop the clock if they don't have to. Here comes Draper with good speed. 3 Capitals are back. Draper will carry it in behind Kolzig. Dumps it out in front, and just missing it was Maltby as he cut in front of Dale Hunter. And play continues now as Simon tried to lift it into the wing zone, but he couldn't get it past center ice. And it comes now to Kocur. Kocur backhanding it into the Capital zone. John Char there just ahead of Fedorov, and the Capitals will start it back just under 8 minutes remaining here in the third period. Nikolitin ducks around Doug Brown, now plays it off the boards, catches up to the puck himself, drops it back in the slot. It comes onto the stick of Joe Ricci. He bobbled it though and has to move it to the corner. Red Wings trying to get to it, and Bob Rouse battling against Bondra. Zednik comes to the loose puck. Zednik, quick shot. It's in the glove of Osgood, and he will hang on. 7:35 left in the third period, and it looks like left in this series. The Red Wings looking to repeat, lead it 4-1. Well, back here at the MCI Center, and it looks like most of these fans are staying here, even though it doesn't look good for the home team. Red Wings leading 4-1. Dave Strader along with Mickey Redmond and Nick Kypreos. Mickey Redmond is headed downstairs to be at ice level for the post-game activity, so Nick Kypreos has joined me up here in the broadcast booth. Here's off the chance off the face-off that Osgood handles, and of course, Nick, you played for the Stanley Cup champion Rangers in 1994 in a Game 7 that went down to the final face-off. You guys did not have the luxury that the Red Wings appear to have to savor it a little bit in the third period.
I don't know if that made it good or bad. Obviously, Detroit's in a situation now where they know with 7 minutes and 31 seconds to go that things are pretty much in hand, and they can start thinking about that celebration.
Face-off looked like a couple of players jumped early, but the linesman let it go, and the Red Wings able to clear. Bellows Hands it off now to Calle Johansson. Johansson will drop it back for Housley. Housley hands it off now for Juneau. Bellows got it into the zone. It's knocked away. Here comes Yzerman the other way. Steve Yzerman, top of the circle drive, partially deflected by Johansson. Made the stop a little bit easier for Olaf Kolzig. Steve Yzerman, Nick, I would think would be everybody's favorite for the Conn Smythe Trophy as the most valuable player. Calle Johansson did what he could there, but boy, Yzerman has just been so strong, game in, game out, series in, series out.
No question about that. Who the real leader on this team, Detroit, Stevie Yzerman. And you can't forget about Chris Osgood and the things that he's gone throughout not only the playoffs but the season. But when it comes right down to it, it was Stevie Y that led much of this charge.
Yzerman was asked a lot of questions about his leadership prior to this game 4, about him being a favorite to win the MVP. He did not want to even talk about that as Eriksson's shot trickles through. Kolzig steers it aside. Tinordi comes up with it for the Capitals. And it's cleared back through center ice. Zednik could not get free from Fetisov, and a penalty coming against Slava Fetisov. As Bill McCreary pointing at number 2 of the Detroit Red Wings, an interference penalty here. This will be the first power play called in the third period. Of course, the Red Wings started this third with a man advantage that they scored on, that carried over from a penalty called by Bill McCreary late in the second.
Dave, I mentioned specialty teams after the second period. And here's Fetisov right here holding up a winger. Zednik. And when it came right down to it, it really is the specialty teams that make a difference for your championship club. I know in 1994, we were up around 23-24% on the power play. And Mark Messier scored the game-winning goal on a power play. And certainly Washington would have liked their power play to step it up here in the finals. It never materialized.
Well, their penalty killing had been solid until here in this fourth game. Yzerman hooked a bit, but no penalty coming there. And the Red Wings struggled on the power play in the first round until the clinching game against Phoenix when they were 4 for 9. They were 3 for 5 in the clinching game against St. Louis. Did not score a power play goal in the clincher against Dallas, but here they are against Washington. The third series out of 4 that their power play has come to life at the absolute most opportune time. And that's another sign of a championship team. Here is Bondra and Zednik. Nikolicia now looking back to the point, hands it to Housley. Housley shot on the way. That was blocked by Murphy, and the puck cleared by Doug Brown. Down to 6:05 on the clock. Minute 10 left in the Fetisov penalty. Housley's pass out to center ice, knocked away. Doug Brown again fires it right back in. Not a whole lot the Washington Capitals have been able to do about the Red Wings here. Centering pass by Oates. Housley wheels back, hands it back to Oates, number 77 for the Capitals. Back to Housley, long one-timer just over the glove of Osgood. Juneau back to the line, Gonchar. Played off the boards and cleared by Jamie McCowan. Out to center ice, Oates again. Could not handle it cleanly. It's blocked by Murphy. And a bouncing puck will be picked up by Igor Larionov. Puts it right in on Kolzig. Officially now, Kolzig has faced 37 shots. The Capitals with 29. Juneau cross-ice pass tipped away. Tikkanen at the line has to chase it back center ice. And it comes now to Murphy. Down to 10 seconds left in the penalty as the Red Wings clear it all the way back behind Olaf Kolzig. Tikkanen has it as the Capitals come out. Now Johansson plays it off his skate, carries into the Detroit zone. Out of the box comes Fetisov. And Fetisov makes the play, coming back on Bellows. Fetisov will get to the red line and just send it deep into the Capital zone. Tinordi took a hit there from Malpe. Now Berube for Washington. Held onto the puck a split second too long, but now gets it back. Tries to make the pass across to Simon. It's intercepted and cleared by Malpe. Tinordi hands it off now for Klee. Back for Tinordi. Tinordi with his head up, but can't find anybody open. And the play is offside at the Red Wings blue line. 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Steve Yzerman will have the cup in his hand later tonight. Back here at the MCI Center, Washington, D.C. 4 minutes and 20 seconds left in this third period, in this game, and in this season, as the Detroit Red Wings are on their way to their second straight Stanley Cup. Dave Strader with Nick Kiprios up here in the booth. Mickey Redmond making his way downstairs to be part of the post-game ceremonies. And Nick, it's really been the defensive play of the Detroit Red Wings, their system. The Capitals have had a few opportunities, but not very many.
No question. And throughout the whole series, Washington just pressing to make anything happen and never getting that one goal to really rally around.
Hunter working the boards with Berube. Now digging at it along the boards. Hunter comes away with it. Back to the line, Tenorti. Tenorti gives it back to Berube. He is checked by Draper. Now Berube rolls it back. Hunter around the boards for Chris Simon. Simon had it knocked away by Maltby. And Tenorti back to get it. Tenorti out of his own zone. Plays it ahead. Hunter could not control. Here's Berube, and a bouncing puck kicked away by McCowan, and Tenorti from center ice unable to sweep it into the Detroit zone. Again, the Red Wings getting a stick in the passing lanes all over the ice, all three zones. Gonchar mishandles the puck. A steal by Holmstrom. Here is Yzerman behind the net. Yzerman looking for somebody out in front. Hands it off to Holmstrom, trying to break free from Gonchar. Here is McCarty now. Gonchar steps in front of him, plays it along the boards, and Chris Simon getting some help from Gonchar. The Capitals finally able to clear. It is dumped back in by McCowan. And we have 3 minutes left in this one. Center ice, Gonchar rolls it back behind Osgood. He stops it there. Here is Larry Murphy. Murphy slides it ahead for Fedorov. Now it comes to Brown up the right wing. He has 2 goals. Look at the hat trick cutting in. And that may have been deflected by Kolzig. And it's back to center ice. Fedorov has it there. You can be sure that Doug Brown's teammates will be looking for him if they can get him the hat trick. This play outside as it bounces into the Cap zone, but it's chopped away by Calle Johansson. Johansson now at center ice. Drives it in on Osgood. Got the left pad on it. Clears it himself. Mondra was there, but there are 2 Red Wings that come out of there with the puck. Brendan Shanahan has it. Long pass intended for Larionov was knocked away by Klee. He flips it back in on Osgood. Osgood leaves it there for Bob Rouse. Out to center ice. And we have 2 minutes remaining in this one. Here's a steal by Tikkanen. Tikkanen looking out in front. It's blocked by McCowan. He clears it ahead. Marty Lapointe taking a look. And Lapointe will now just dump it in back behind Kolzig. 1:45 on the clock. Long pass to Krieger, and that'll be a 2-line pass.
Dave once again mentioning how strong Detroit is defensively. Osgood right here handling the puck exceptionally well throughout, but not overly handling it. And it seems that they've always been on the right page. Other than that miscue in game 2, they've been a very well-run oiled machine.
Well, that has been the key for the Wings. The 20 players that are dressed are all on the same page. And even those that haven't been lucky enough to get into the lineup are ready when called upon. And we understand the Red Wing players not dressed for tonight's final game already in full equipment because they want to come out and be a part of the ceremony when the Stanley Cup is brought out to center ice.
And that's a tradition that was started last year, and I think it's a great one.
Here is Tenorti playing it ahead for Tikkanen. Tikkanen hammers it back into the Red Wing zone. Larry Murphy plays it off the glass. It gets by Tenorti down the ice. Housley chasing back after it. There will not be a whistle here for icing. The clock counting down. The Red Wing bench is standing. 1 minute.
1 minute, 1 minute left on the third.
Play offside at the Detroit line of Kevin Collins. We'll blow the whistle. Well, some of the emotions now can start to come out for the Detroit Red Wings, and the prize that every young hockey player around the world dreams about holding above his head has been taken out of the official case.
Dave, I believe my name's on there somewhere.
No, there's no believing about it. It definitely is, Nick. 1994 with the New York Rangers. Mickey Redmond, part of our crew here, has it on there twice. And the crowd here at the MCI Center, all the Red Wing fans for sure coming to their feet. As center ice, a steal by Yzerman. Yzerman waiting. Hands it off to McCarty. McCarty has a look. Back to Yzerman. He'll shoot the puck. Hosing the save, and he hangs on. And Holmstrom will get out of there in a hurry. He doesn't want to be a part of any rough stuff. Chris Simon coming after Bob Rouse. Well, of course, it starts with great leadership at the top of any organization. And, of course, the Red Wings have that with the ownership of Mike and Marian Ilitch. Mike Ilitch, you can see him down there barely behind that crowd of people. Face-off is controlled by the Capitals. Cleve plays it to Simon. It's out to center ice. Larionov hands it off there to Martin Lapointe. Well, these Red Wings may not yet qualify as a dynasty in the tradition of the Red Wings of the 40s and 50s or Montreal or Edmonton or the Islanders, but these Red Wings have earned their place in NHL history after 42 years. Without a single title, they have won 2 in a row. The Detroit Red Wings of 1998 are Stanley Cup champions. Vladimir Konstantinov is out on the bench. He's there to be a part of it. And one of the great traditions in all of professional sports, the handshake after the hard battles are fought. Things are said emotionally. Things are done physically between players on opposite sides of the battle, but when it's all said and done, they shake hands, congratulate each other for the effort. And still, most of the Red Wings gathered in the corner down to our left as the Capitals waiting patiently for the handshakes. And Chris Osgood, as you can imagine, the center of most of the affection, at least right now, because to a man, these Red Wings know what they've been through. And look at this. Vladimir Konstantinov is out on the ice and is going to be a part of the handshaking ceremony. Scotty Bowman, his 8th Stanley Cup as a coach, ties Toe Blake with that distinction. Well, they have moved Konstantinov now over to the bench area. Joe Kocur and a couple of the other Red Wings over there. Scotty Bowman talking with Phil Housley, another player that he drafted with the Buffalo Sabres. There is Chris Osgood. And you know, this is a young man, Nick, that doesn't show a lot of emotions on the outside, but you know what he's got to be feeling inside. Even if he says he didn't have to prove himself or vindicate himself, he certainly has done that.
He answered the bell from the very beginning. He's the type of guy with a young face, little baby face, It certainly doesn't get the attention sometimes he deserves.
Let's go downstairs to Mickey Redmond. Mick.
Thanks, David. Vyacheslav Kozlov, how does this one feel? Back-to-back championships. Congratulations.
Thanks, Mickey. I feel great, and I think we deserve it. Win Stanley Cup this year. We play without Vladdy, and Sergei didn't play first 60 games, so I think it's the greatest organization that I've been in my life right now, and I think we deserve it to win Stanley Cup.
How did you guys do it? You came back, you didn't rest on your laurels, you went out and you worked your tails off right in training camp. No Stanley Cup hangover. You worked harder than anybody, and you got back here again.
Well, it's a great talent team. Lots of players and step up young players, and it's a great feeling. Win the Stanley Cup back-to-back.
Well, you certainly stepped up a lot. Congratulations. Great job. Thanks, Kazi. Good stuff. Look upstairs, guys.
All right, Mick, thanks very much. In a few moments, we're going to have the first trophy presentation, which is the Conn Smythe Trophy that is given to the most valuable player in the playoffs. And let's go back downstairs to Mick.
Well, the captain of the Red Wings. Stevie, is this one any better? It's not any less. I know that.
Well, it's every bit as good, that's for sure. We thought you'd think you'd be satisfied after winning once. Once we get in the playoffs here, we got just as much desire as last year. This has been incredible.
Steve, back in training camp, you guys absolutely worked your tails off. There was no resting on your laurels at all. That was the great thing.
Well, it was a lot easier to come into camp. We were relaxed, but we did work hard, and we didn't lose any focus or any desire through the season. We played hard.
Stevie, congratulations on a great playoff. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
Steve Yzerman, guys, what a dandy he was in this playoff.
Let's go to the commissioner of the National Hockey League, Mr. Gary Bettman.
For a great leader and a great player, Steve Yzerman.
Well, it's hard to believe that is the first major National Hockey League award that Steve Yzerman has won in his career. Individual award. He's never won an MVP. He's never won a scoring title. He's always been compared to the likes of Wayne Gretzky and Mario Lemieux in the primes of their career. But he said none of that mattered. To hoist the Stanley Cup last year and again this year was all that he needed to complete his career. But he has won a major award now, the Conn Smythe Trophy winner as the most valuable player. But as good as that felt to hold that trophy up, it won't compare again to the feeling he'll get when he gets to hoist the Stanley Cup that'll be making its way out to center ice. And Commissioner Gary Bettman once again will take the microphone to make the presentation. There is Chris Osgood with assistant coach Barry Smith again around Vladimir Konstantinov. And here comes the Stanley Cup, the oldest trophy competed for in professional sports.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Stanley Cup.
Dave, it's going to be interesting to see who Steve Yzerman passes the cup to for the first time here.
Last year it was Igor Larionov and Slava Fetisov. My guess is he's going to bring it over to Vladimir Konstantinov, and then probably Chris Osgood will hoist it. This is going to be a very emotional moment. Let's look in.
Let's first start by congratulating the Washington Capitals on a great season. Irene and Abe Poland, George McPhee, Ronnie this was a great way to initiate the MCI Center. Washington has become a hockey city. And now let's talk about Hockey Town. Vladimir Konstantinov and Sergei Minotsikhanov have been great inspirations for their teammates. To win the Stanley Cup back-to-back means overcoming adversity, means doing your best, and I know your teammates and all of us hope that the courage they've shown will be an inspiration to you as you continue your recovery. This is a great team, a great organization. Mike and Marian Illich, Ken Holland, Scotty Bowman, all of the players, you ought to be congratulated. Steve Yzerman, let's do it again. Come get the Stanley Cup.
Well, I can guarantee you there probably is not a dry eye in Hockey Town to see Vladimir Konstantinov holding a cigar, smiling, not only being a part of this moment, but obviously realizing what the moment means. And that in itself means more than anything to this Detroit Red Wing organization, that he could be here and be a part of it. And Vladimir Konstantinov will make the initial lap around the ice here at the MCI Center. I mean, this is just incredible.
They've been watching hockey since I was 7 years old this time of year, and I can't ever recall a team that's more emotionally close than the Detroit Red Wings.
Of course, last year we watched this Detroit Red Wing team win it on home ice. Nick, you had an opportunity to win it in front of your home fans, and as many Red Wing fans as there are here, you have to pay a huge deal of credit to the Washington Capitals fans that have seen what it's all about. I think it's important for hockey fans and members of organizations that have not experienced this to see this and to realize what they want to accomplish.